Ever since I was younger, I had a fascination with mysteries. The obscure, the unsolved, and the unknowable. From interesting to disturbing, harmless to dangerous. Join me as I uncover rabbit holes and track down information on a plethora of topics you may know little about. This is Atlas Investigates. Hello everyone, I'm Atlas, and this is part 6 of the Chronological Christian Iceberg. Welcome back. Once again, just to get the explanation out of the way, an iceberg chart is a collection of information on a specific topic ranked based on how obscure and or disturbing the facts are. And Christian is a person on the internet that many people are familiar with or have at least heard of. He holds the title of the most documented person on the internet because of the sheer amount of facts that are available regarding his exceedingly strange life. This iceberg was created by the user Piccadilly on icebergcharts.com and was posted on the 8th of February 2022. This is part 6 of this chronologically organized iceberg, and I encourage you to go to my channel and watch the first 5 parts if you haven't already. While we're on the subject, I'll encourage you to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and leave a comment if you have something to say. I read them all. If you'd like to see more frequent updates from me, you can follow my Twitter, which will be linked in the description and listed on screen right now. If you've already done all that, then let's begin. The early trolling era, 2007 to 2010. Before we get into things yet again, I want to let you know that there are a few overlapping sagas that occurred during this time period. In this episode, we're going to be covering parts of the Clyde Cash saga, the last bits of the Panda Halo and Miyamoto sagas, and the entirety of the Julie saga. In order to keep things chronological, I'm going to cover the events as they happen in the timeline, as opposed to going saga by saga. So, keep an eye out for the title that'll appear on screen and let you know which saga the event I'm talking about is connected to. Let's begin. Mumble. Mumble was an online voice chat application, sort of similar to things like TeamSpeak and Discord, that Chris would use to speak with Sonichu fans live. He took part in several such chats during this time period, and the first would be on January 31st, 2009, just after uploading his apology to Nintendo video. Nothing much of note is discussed during this call, except Chris does say something that might indicate he doesn't believe that incest between sisters is wrong.
You know, you sent me a picture on the PlayStation Network, Julie, and I'll just take a consideration, but let me ask, an incest?
What? Yeah, incest.
Yeah, sure, send me a picture on Skype later, Julie. But yeah, what is an incest? I mean, I've heard that word, but I never really understood it.
She posted it right on the left.
Oh, as in sex between between siblings. Oh.
Yeah, like brother, sister, sister, sister.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely discourage that, because you know that's another bad way to go. Plus also, y'all know the story of Anne Boleyn, and I believe I've mentioned before that it was spread around that my ancestor in an aunt sort of sense was Anne Boleyn. So like, you know, possible full descendant would be Mary Boleyn. Yeah, but it's like, you know, I'm trying to find a missing link between Mary and the first Earl of Portland, Richard Weston. I've looked it up on Wikipedia. But Yeah, but anyway, getting back to the Anne Boleyn thing, I saw the movie The Other Boleyn Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the part where it's like Anne lost a child while she slept, and that basically happened right there. And then it's like she tries to get pregnant from her brother George, I believe his name was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. I know that for sure. But my first thought was like, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it just depends on my inspiration. But with the stress lately, it's kind of hard to get inspired. Yeah, but it's like I'm also in the process of removing myself from the comic, and that's pretty much linking it to my real life there. So when you got something that's linked to your real life, it's kind of hard to keep it up to date there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, still I'm removing myself at the end of I'm checking myself at the end of the #2 comic. Yeah, sure, Julie, send some me through the Skype. Since you got the window open. Alright, so to answer the question, but like, between sisters,
Mm-hmm.
that.
I mean, it's not like we're gonna
Yeah.
reproduce, so there's no messed up stuff there.
Yeah. I don't know, I guess between sisters, I guess that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying for certain. I'm not saying for certain. But like, it's possibly okay, but I'm not saying for certain.
Chris mails his hair. Chris mailed 23 locks of his own hair to Cassie Rosechu, one of the creators of the Sonichu girls form, so that they could be given to the girls and shared among them as some sort of weird memento or something. Here's a letter that Chris wrote to Cassie explaining why he did this.
Dear Cassie, I hope you and your family are well. I apologize for not writing in a while, and I hope my Spanish in this letter is good, smiley face. Good. I thought, felt, I should send you the sample of my hair locks I was able to divide for you and your friends, including Sarah May. Enclosed in are 23 locks of my hair. I felt bad for not making 200 cards in the time. I've been through a bunch of bad times, and some good. I trust that you can understand fully, and I deeply thank you for that. Smiley face. Like a wrestled? Chris crosses his T's last. Trusted friend. I love you, Cassie. Love and peace. Christian W. Chandler.
According to Cassie herself, Chris's hair was very greasy and smelled strange. Also of note is the fact that, because Cassie lived in Mexico, Chris also transcribed his letter in his own butchered version of Spanish, as well as including a drawing of Sonichu in a sombrero on the Spanish side of the paper. Mumble 2. On February 4th, Chris takes part in another Mumble chat, in which he confronts Clyde about what he did to Panda Halo, and answers questions posted to him by others in the call. Chris's mother Barbara makes a small appearance, and can be heard speaking to Chris in the background. BlueSpike Skype Logs. The main platform on which Chris and Julie spoke was Skype, away from the prying eyes of the Sonichu IRC. Still, we can access and read most of these chats because Julie would record and publish them. They quickly grew closer, and Chris was obviously getting a romantic attraction to Julie, especially since Panda Halo hadn't spoken to him since it was revealed that she was pregnant with Clyde Cash's baby. Molvanîa Was Destroyed. Now, having supposedly moved to the United States, Julie got on a Mumble chat with Chris and claimed that her home country of Molvanîa was destroyed somehow. This is a very unprofessional attempt at trolling, as Julie changes the story several times and scrambles to prevent Chris from searching up the country on the internet, lest he realize that it doesn't actually exist. Clyde Cash joins the call, and he and Chris have a small confrontation, in which Julie plays the damsel in distress, and Chris steps in like the gallant hero he thinks he is, protecting her from the dastardly Clyde Cash. After he leaves, Chris not so subtly tells Julie that he hopes that, when she comes to visit him, they can have sex. Clyde later appears again, and he and Chris argue over Chris's lack of a job, which actually provides us with an interesting glimpse into Chris's thought process.
Ah! Have you heard from my friend Cameron Cameron yet? Have you heard from him yet?
Cameron?
Yes. Her, sorry.
Oh. Possibly. Is that, I don't know, is that like, your aunt still over in Molvanîa?
Well, I have unfortunate news about Molvanîa. It appears to have been destroyed. I know that sounds strange, but I don't know what happened. I'm very worried.
Maybe I can find something
I miss my hometown.
I hear you. Hang on, I'll Google Molvanîa and see if I can find...
No, it's alright. I'm pretty sure I know what happened.
Oh, tell me in your own words, what you think happened.
I don't know. It's just... I think the dictator of Molvanîa, I think he was assassinated.
The dictator was assassinated?
As far as I've heard from Cameron before I lost all contact with him.
You mean her, don't you?
Sorry, I keep getting confused. My English is awful. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're trying. You're doing okay.
Thank you very much.
And so far you haven't proven otherwise. You still live with your parents. You still don't have a job. You failed to go to Nintendo. I mean, God, that was a golden opportunity, and you failed miserably. So what do you have to say for that?
I did not have the money to make the trip. But
because you don't have a job.
No, because I was compulsive with spending, and I did not have enough saved at the moment. But I am.
How much do you have? How much money do you have saved from what you get from the government? That's it. If you had a job, you would have plenty of money to go. You know that $300 is barely anything for someone with a job.
$300. You thinking I get $300 a month?
You would get well more than that if you had a job.
I got news for you. Currently, I'm getting $800 a month.
God, you would get way more than $800 a month if you had a job.
And it increases with every year on my first month.
You do realize that people make thousands more a month with something called a job.
I am aware of that. But I just do not feel at the time that I need to be in a job because I'm getting the money from the Social Security, and my father has assured me that it's more than anybody can make in a job.
Are you Are you an idiot? You could easily make more than $800 a month with a job. Look, I'm pretty sure you can make more on minimum wage.
Well, that just pretty much shows what you know. Have you ever had a job?
Of course. I'm in one right now. A driving job, where I drive people around tons of places. Sure, gas is expensive, but I make more than enough. And I love driving. It's my favorite thing. I love it so much.
Let me ask. Limo or taxi?
It's my own personal driving business.
I see.
You can make your own job. If it's a service that people want, which is more than I can say for my community. There's tons of people without cars, and I get them places. So Chris, what are your skills? What can you do?
I'd say basically I'm all around. But you see, that's a problem. I have too many skills that I am good at. You might say...
If you're good at them, they get a job in any one of those skills. Come on!
You might say I'm a jack of all trades and master of none.
They'd get something with minimum wage. Come on, man. That is the worst excuse I've ever heard. I'm too good for all these things. I'm just not going to get a job. That is the worst excuse I've ever heard.
I am capable and willing to get a job whenever I want to. But I just want to make sure I have a job that I would feel most comfortable with, where I would not feel I was being pigeonholed for my skills, and I was making good use of my skills as well. And,
no, you don't.
And also making up, if possible, over 1,000 a month.
You can easily make over 1,000 a month. Christ, man. I mean, you have 2 degrees in this CAD thing, right?
I have earned those, yes.
What have you done with those? What have you done?
I have designed the Quickville Shopping Center.
Show me. Show me this. I'd love to see it.
It would take a whole bunch of scanning.
You've got time. Send it to me. You know my email. You know, Greg Maeve with 3 G's. And what else have you done with your degree?
I would put more perspective into my artwork and my
And
creativity.
Artwork. Nothing. You don't get money off your artwork.
Maybe not, but but it is something I was capable of enjoying in my own personal.
You know what?
pace.
I'm also incapable of enjoying getting blowjobs. Okay, but that doesn't mean I can't make money off that.
Chris comes out of the closet. During the previously mentioned Mumble chat, Clyde threatened to harm Julie unless Chris made a video confessing to being gay. Feeling that his hands were tied, Chris did exactly that on February 5th, 2009. However, he was lying throughout the video. According to Chris, he hoped that his true fans would realize that he was being dishonest and coerced because he was not wearing his Sonichu medallion in the video, and he was holding a Transformers Optimus Prime toy, which had been previously established to be connected with masculinity, as seen in his Christian Weston Chandler's Future Message video. In addition, he never explicitly calls himself gay. He uses the word gaybian instead, which he defines as being a quote-unquote male lesbian, as some sort of last resort so that he doesn't have to claim that he is a homosexual.
Hello. You know, the word gay tends to be thrown around a lot. especially when one's words is heavily understood one way or understood another way. It can mean so much. But when it comes to in the end, it can make a lot of difference. I personally respect the gay population, and I implore them, because they come out of the closets with their own emotions and feelings and whatnot, and sometimes even us brave heroes need to come out the closet as well. I have come out of my emotional prohibited shell that has prohibited me from expressing my emotions in an understood, wise choice of words, but I have learned to come out and express them in a good term as well. And especially when it can come from especially when the emotions come from the heart and the body language, it just depends on how it is understood from that point or another. But I'll cut to a chase. I respect my fellow man, and I have some feelings for the man as well. But yeah, in a nutshell, I have to come out of the closet, and so one closet, God please help me, and I feel that I am forced to come out of. Simply put, and I'm willing to say this in sound, mind, and body, I am a Gabian. Yep, you heard me. I am a gay. A male lesbian. Thank you.
Clyde confronts Chris about this in a Mumble chat, and Chris accepts that he made an inferior product and offers to remake the video as long as Clyde leaves Julie alone. Clyde agrees, but he says he'll send Julie some chocolates and flowers in an attempt to hit on her. Here is the new video Chris made in an attempt to improve over the previous one.
Good evening. You know, the word gay and terms like coming out of the closet gets thrown around a lot. Anyway, and also some of us have to feel like we're being forced to supposedly come out of the closet. And also, sometimes the actual words, like I myself, actual words I have used, become misinterpreted. And it can be very infuriating when people misinterpret things into slanderous misunderstandings. But yeah, I'll get to a point here. I'll get to the point. I'm being forced to come out of a closet, even though I already came out of one closet emotionally, where I have learned to put my emotions into a good sound assortment of words and honest input. And and even though it really pains me a lot to say some things. Anyway, so to get to the point, fine. I'm good. I'm gay. I'm gay. I said it. I said it. So there. I said it. Yep. I'm gay. Okay. Yep. So, did I really come out of the closet there? It just depends on y'all, how y'all understand it. Peace.
Note that he is still not wearing his medallion, and is also still holding on to Optimus Prime, so that his true fans know that he is lying about his homosexuality. Another Mumble chat is held while the video is being uploaded. More Chris versus Clyde content ensues, but the most notable part is when Clyde tells Chris he's racist for excluding black women in his criteria for a girlfriend. Chris puts on a shitty Jamaican accent in what he believes is an attempt to prove that he's not racist, which genuinely baffles Clyde.
I mean, what do you look for in a woman?
I look for caring personality, and strong emotions, strong-willed, all-round personality. Woman who'll be good, good to me, and is not afraid to
word gay
or other
terms
things to keep the relationship strong and alive, but also the woman who just loved me for me, and I would love her mutually, her for her, and for who she is. She loved me for who I am.
Oh, come on. I saw that that one MySpace thing. You said you were looking for a blonde woman, not black, not a police woman, not autistic, under some weight. Come on, man.
So I was a bit more picky back then. And plus I wasn't sure of all the total details. I mean, I've learned that it gets more beyond the physical attributes. But still, call me old-fashioned, but I would not, definitely wouldn't, not black. Not black. all the other races, which is like a majority, the whole bunch of races, and I'm not being racist here, Julie.
How is that not racist? Come on! You blatantly said not black. Not black, come on.
I am willing to I would care about a black woman as a friend, honestly. But I would not want beyond just friendship.
You still have a lot to learn. That's about looks, not about personality. You're still being racist.
Hey, don't you play me for no fool, man!
What was that?
You figure it out.
I have no comment on what was that?
Oh, that just be an imitation of a black person or somebody from Jamaica.
You do know those are different. Oh, Christ almighty. So you are racist. My God.
Hey, well, if it fits Archie Bunker's shoes, then let it be. But I am not totally racist, man. I am not racist.
Then what was that? What was that?
You just threw a label at me, so I just imitated somebody who actually was.
Oh my Christ. Christ almighty. I don't know what to say to that.
Chris destroys his Vibrator too. Clyde demanded that Chris destroy some of his unneeded possessions in order to prove his love for Julie. Chris obliges, creating a video on February 6th in which he directly addresses Clyde and the previous videos he uploaded about him being gay before destroying another Vibrator he had. Please note that he doesn't actually destroy it. Chris isn't strong enough to break it with his own two hands, so he just takes it apart. Believing that this was enough to satisfy Clyde's demands, he ends the video there.
Hello. Some of you may have seen the video which I've recently uploaded, stating that I was of the wrong orientation. But I want to let y'all know that I did that to save the life of a trusted gal pal, and she is eternally grateful to me for it. So yes, as you can tell from my nonverbal clues, I was lying out of my ass. But I did to save her life, because Clyde Cash would have harmed her. But I have gotten his word that he would not lay a finger on her. And also, I had to make another slight promise. Another promise after making that. After that, I get rid of some of my unnecessary possessions. I want to let him know anyway that I've already started. I destroyed this. Dun dun dun. That deed is done. I am straight. I am straight. It took me the one time where I actually had to say the word that I hated so much for the first time in my life ever. And then later, it took one man to send me an email, let me know that he realized the nonverbal clues, leading to I was being forced to do that, and I had to lie up my ass. Y'all can view the previously uploaded video in its originality and unaltered spec, and an unaltered sense in my current YouTube account. But I think I have proven myself well enough. I was holding on to my manhood, my straightness, by having Optimus Prime in my lap, and my Sailor Moon poster behind me that I look at every night to help keep me straight. I was born straight, and I will never be changed that way. Thank you.
Sarah's death. Chris caught wind of wildfires that were consuming part of Australia at the time and believed that, because he hadn't heard from Panda Halo for some time, she had been caught up in the flames and had been killed. Saddened by this, he recorded the video Quick Update 8th February 2009, in which he talks about the Sonichu website being back up and prays that Sarah is still alive. However, the wildfires were not even occurring in the section of Australia where Panda Halo supposedly lives, so Chris's beliefs were completely unfounded, unbeknownst to him.
Captain's log, stardate February 8th, 2009. I've been under a lot of stress lately, but first off, let me start off by saying the Sonichu site is back up. It's at Sonichu and Rosechu.com. That's what it is now. Sonichu and Rosechu.com. Yeah, I've been under distress lately. The recent one where y'all may have heard about, y'all may have watched the videos, last 2 videos before this one. Yeah, forced into doing that. I won't be repeating that again. Hopefully not. Hopefully I won't be repeating that. Use that take. Anyway, also, aside from that, and I thought that was bad enough, and I was feeling the feeling the after pains from that. I find out that there's been some there's been some brush fire or wildfire, that sort of stuff, fire, going on in the southern Australia area, where my sweetheart, Sarah Cassandra McKenzie, Panda Halo, she was in that neck of the woods, and I haven't heard from her in over 2 weeks. And the fire's been going on for during the past few weeks, so I pray that she's still alive. I hope she didn't die in the fire. Sarah, if you are hearing this message, please let me know that you're safe in an email or send me a postcard. And also let me know, can I still expect you over at my house, or are you going to go to Clyde? Please let me know, because I miss you. I worry about you. I still care deeply about you, Sarah. Sarah Hart. Please. Please, let me know what's going on. Alright? Still caring about you very much. Peace.
Promised a clean room, and Nintendo's official response. Chris uploaded another video on February 10th, in which he showcases how he was cleaning his room in accordance with his promise to Clyde about removing his unnecessary possessions. This has also been pointed out before, but I'd like to highlight how ironic it is that Chris's trolls seem to care more about his health and cleanliness than his own family. In this same video, he also reads aloud a bit of official correspondence from Nintendo, informing him that he had never been in contact with Shigeru Miyamoto, and that he never had any intention of meeting him in Washington, making this the final bookend to the Miyamoto saga. He also leaves a message for Julie, saying, "Ich bin schwell, Julie, ich bin schwell." According to Julie, this meant, "I love you," in Molvanîan. However, in reality, this is German for the phrase, "I am gay."
Captain's Log, Stardate, February 10th, 2009. The reason why I have my camera aimed down at my feet is because, in respect to a promise I am wanting to keep, I'm showing off the cleanliness of my room, which I have just cleaned up. For example, there's more walking space. Look right here, there's definitely space between that and the bed. And you look over here, more walking space to the door. Plenty of space there. And I got that tub off the top of my couch, so it don't fall down and hit anyone. I had to leave the other stuff up there. But at least I didn't have to compromise much. I put the clutter I had and stuff into bags like these, and put them in my bathroom closet. I got these bags for like a dime each when they were on clearance at my local Walmart. But also, after talking about that and making Clyde know that I've kept my promise, Ik vind swell, Julie. Ik vind swell. Anyway, second update. I have received in the mail today a letter from Nintendo of America in response to the piece I sent in the snail mail. It comes from Mike Chandler over there, no relation, at least as far as I know. Anyway, it has proven my family and my congregations as well as my own theories. I shall read it to you from beginning to end. It says here, Dear Christian, thank you for your recent letter. I appreciate having this opportunity to be of assistance. Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto did not have a meeting scheduled with you, nor has he been corresponding with you. Mr. Miyamoto speaks and writes only very limited English, and our game development teams do not accept unsolicited game suggestions or ideas. Although Mr. Miyamoto makes occasional business trips to the U.S., he spends the majority of his time in Japan at Nintendo's headquarters. Thanks again for writing, Christian. I hope this information has been helpful and that you continue to enjoy Nintendo products. Sincerely, Nintendo of America, Inc., Mike Chandler, Consumer Service Representative. So, I was never in correspondence with Mr. Miyamoto or Reggie Fils-Aimé at all. They were imposters. I thought as much. So, there it was, black and white, from Nintendo of America. And that pretty much is it for now on the update. So, for now, I bid y'all a very pleasant day. Peace.
Sonichu and Rosechu's Love Shack. This is a new section of the Sonichu and Rosechu website. Created at Julie's behest, the reason for this to exist was to have a place to showcase the pornographic art of Sonichu characters done mostly by Chris. Quick comes for a cat. Audio emerged of a Skype call held between Chris and Julie on February 13th, in which they seemed to be engaged in an explicit sexual roleplay. While any audio from Julie is absent in the recording, we can hear Chris's side of the exchange. It seems that he is role-playing as Sonichu, and Julie is role-playing as a cat or something. I'm not going to be playing the audio for you, because even I have limits to how much I'm willing to torture you in these videos. If you really want to look it up, be my guest. Just know that it's over 20 minutes long, and very in detail, if you catch my drift. After he finishes, Chris can be heard drinking something, which causes him to burp out loud. Keep this in mind for later. Bob walks in. During another Chris/Julie Skype sex roleplay, trolls made repeated calls to the Chandler household because they knew what was going on in the kitchen at that very moment. Chris's dad, Bob, received these calls, and one troll told him that Chris had just posted a video on YouTube telling people that he was going to kill himself. Bob, concerned, finds Chris in the kitchen, and hilarity ensues. Bob threatens to cut down the internet, and this audio clip is what gained him the nickname, the Internet Lumberjack. This is definitely a top 10 Chris Chan moment, so I will be playing some of the audio for you. Enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Listen, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm getting all these crazy damn calls. What are you doing? Nothing. Give me that crap. Now, what's going on? Dad, will you get out of here? No, I will not. People telling me that you're about to kill yourself on YouTube. What? What are you doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm going to wake your mother up and find out? No. Well, then get out of here and off that internet. Fine. What is your trouble? I'm not going to kill myself. Get away from that TV. Fine. Get away from the internet. I'm cutting it down right now. No! Dad, no! Yes. No! What are you doing?
Don't do it, then.
I'm gonna shut this thing right down.
No.
Yes.
No. Dad, no.
Stop! Go wake your mother up. Don't bother me. Okay? Go wake your mother up. Don't bother me. Go and wake your mother up. You tell her what's going on. This thing is going to go down.
No.
Yes.
BlueSpike PSN Logs. After the debacle of Bob interrupting their sexy time, Chris and Julie moved their chats from Skype to PSN, presumably for a little more privacy. The first of these conversations took place on February 16, 2009. During the conversation, Chris mentions that his Aunt Corrina is very ill and that she is likely going to die soon. Barbara is going to visit her, but Chris has to stay home to help his dad and take care of the house and their cats. In a chat the next day, a conversation can be overheard in which Chris asks if he can go with Barbara to visit his aunt before she dies, and she tells him no.
Hang on, I'll talk to my mom. You can listen in.
Okay.
Hey, Mom. Yeah. Hey, Mom, be sure to listen to Wait to go see our friend tonight so I give her the last hug. She won't even know you're there. But I heard an audible voice. Yeah. Sure you love her. Yeah, well, at least I was able to give her my last I love you when I called her the other day. That's right. So that's all. Yeah. All right, Mom, I'll talk to you later. Did you get that, Julie?
Yeah, could you ask your mother if I could talk to her? Because I've wanted to talk to her for a while.
Oh. I'm not sure if she's in the mood, but...
No, I just asked, please.
Then I'll ask her.
Ask her if I could talk to her, please, for me. Use spell, summon Snorlax.
Oops. Okay. I'm not going to come all the way over there, Mom. So listen, I'm talking to my friend Julie on the PSN network. She wants to say hello to you. I'm not able to talk to her. Does she emotional? I am not able to talk to anybody right now. Will you leave the room? Thank you. I'll see you later.
Someone failed.
Thank you, Laura.
Recycled semen. Remember when I told you to keep in mind that Chris drank something after masturbating with Julie? Well, in a Mumble chat on February 17th, Chris revealed that he consumes his own semen after he masturbates in order to quote-unquote recycle it. This is, in his mind, so that nothing goes to waste and he doesn't lose the semen he ejaculates. He would finish into a cup, so as not to make any mess, and drink it. That's more than likely what he did after the session with Julie on the 13th, though this can't be 100% confirmed.
Welcome back.
Yep.
What was that about, Chris?
Yep.
What was that about, Chris?
I just had to, my mom asked me to take the clothes out of the washing machine and put them in the dryer.
That was nice.
Okay, yes.
Chris, I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
I have this friend, I think it's a different friend. I think he might be gay.
I know.
He masturbates, after he's done masturbating, he drinks his own semen. Is that gay?
No. I don't think so because, I've done that. It's called recycling it.
Wait, let me answer.
Yes, basically recycling, so it's like, he doesn't necessarily have to
lose it. I mean, because, you know, you think of it as a waste. If you banged it out, and then you put, I mean, it's like you flush it down the commode or leave it in the condom and put it in the garbage can.
Sponges and sponges by stomach acid.
Yeah, well, well, still, it's fuel for the new sperm cells. And plus also, I've learned on the internet that there's vitamins in the sperm cells as well. But so it's like basically you're helping yourself when you do that.
That's interesting. I heard that
although personally, I'm kind of sick of swallowing my own. So like, you know, but so lately I've just been disposing of them. I mean, it just depends on your own individual taste. Yes, Julie?
I heard someone say hi, Chris. It sounded like a female.
I love the dude in the background who says, guys, in complete shock and horror. And then the second guy says, wait, let him answer, knowing he's about to make Christery. Sarah's attempted suicide. In the same Mumble chat where Chris revealed he consumes his own semen, he, Julie, and a newcomer named Emily discuss possibly having a threesome. At this point, Sarah May joins the call and expresses her distress at Chris having a threesome that doesn't include her, as she was under the assumption that Chris's threesome would be with Julie and herself. Chris tries to console her, but things escalate when Julie later decides she doesn't want a threesome that includes Sarah May. Sarah is inconsolable after Chris refers to her as Julie, and threatens self-harm and suicide before leaving the chat. Chris feels bad for all of 5 seconds before being thankful that he still has Julie. He also uploads the video "Quick Shout Out to Sarah May" in an attempt to reach her and dissuade her from harming herself.
This message is for Sarah May. Sarah, I feel terrible about the big mistake I made in our conversation. I hope you don't do anything stupid. I pray you're still alive and well. Because if you committed suicide or hurt yourself because of my actions, I feel terrible. Sarah, I care about you very much. Please, be alive. I care about you as a friend, and you are a sweet friend. You are the sweetest among my sweetest friends that I have made in my lifetime. And I just cry if I lost you. Let me know that you're still alive. Send in another application to rejoin the Sonichu cross forum. If you reply and mention that, I know you're still alive, and hopefully we can put all this behind us. Hopefully I'll get to talk to you again soon. I love you, Sarah May. I love you as my friend.
Quick update, 18th February 2009. After uploading his shout-out to Sarah May, Chris filmed an update video in which he discusses homosexuality and addresses accusations levied at him in the wake of the latest Mumble chat.
Captain's log, stardate February 18th, 2009. I was just making an update. I'm continuing working on the pages of my comic. Forgive my sniffles, I just did video dedication for one of my sweetest loyal Sonichu girls. among my fan base. Anyway, I just wanted to make a statement. I retract, respectfully, I retract using the word hate among the gay populace. I was under a lot of stress, and I'll admit I made a bad word choice when I chose that word. You see, I am capable of associating and being friends and respecting all gays. I'm doing this on my heart. Believe me. But you know, beyond respect and friendship, no. But I do not hate the gay population. I like them and respect them only as friends. Just like I would my gal pals. And all my girlfriends and my sweetheart. Well, when I say girlfriends, I'm talking about, like, you know, I've had multiple crushes in my lifetime before I got online and found the Sonichu girls and the female fan base. And my high school sweetheart. That's another one there. Okay. Well, y'all take care. Peace.
For Julie's Eyes Only.mp4. This was a video filmed by Chris meant, as the title suggests, for Julie's Eyes Only. When this was filmed and sent to Julie, it's hard to say, but it was posted on the website Slutload on February 20th, 2009. It was uploaded by Julie's supposed brother, Max. In the video, Chris films himself having relations with his anime blow-up doll, Kimmy, pretending that it's Julie herself. He can be heard yelling, "Julie!" while he's doing the act, and this phrase became a meme among Christorians hereafter, though it has outstayed its welcome and isn't used anymore. I obviously can't play the video, but here's some audio to fuel your nightmares.
Julie! Julie! Yeah, Julie! I'm ready to go! Julie! 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 Julie!
Corrina's death. In a Skype chat on February 21st, Chris talked to Julie and told her that his Aunt Corrina had died. He was sad, but it seems that he was more concerned about the timing of her funeral. You see, he hoped that her funeral would not take place on February 24th, Chris's birthday, because that same day his church was supposed to host a pancake dinner that he very much wanted to attend. His anticipation of the pancake dinner seemed to take precedent over his grief for his aunt's passing. Ode to Julie. At Julie's request, Chris filmed and posted a video in which he professed his love to her. In it, he promises to try and visit Julie in Ohio, where she was apparently living after she moved to the US from Molvanîa, and recites a poem-like ode to her in order to express his affection, in which he compares their relationship to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
This is a long-distance love dedication to my girlfriend, Julie. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. I love you, Julie, so very much. You strike my thought at every moment, and it makes me ponder with such love and desire. I love you so much. We came from a far distance of the country of Molvanîa. And also, throughout with respect, though I hold on to it with single hand, I respectfully remove for you, Julie, my medal, and I hold it in my hand as I tell the truth in the video here. Oh, fair Julie, I love you so much in my heart. Your voice strikes me like a lute on a spring day, or a red robin in an early afternoon. I look at and see your picture as you have sent to me, and I look into your eyes. I am deeply in awe, as your eyes are like chocolate-covered strawberries. The brown on the outside, but a sweet, wonderful woman that cares about me very much and will love me no matter what. That is a strawberry within. That is your soul. And we yet have a similar storyline to Romeo and Juliet. Only one syllable missing. It'll be like, if we had that syllable, it'd be like Cristiano and Juliet. But every night you may cry, Cristiano, Cristiano, wherefore art thou, Cristiano? And I would be there in your heart. For my heart is with you. For if I call you out, I would be there in your heart, and I would personally be calling out, I am here, O fair Juliet. 'Tis no word thy name be heard every waking moment. And the sun is in the east, and Juliet is the sun. Though I know not much Shakespeare, but at least I know enough to get it by. I think of you, Juliet, at every moment, and it makes my heart pound so much faster. It gets me jazzed up like I was real-rested, not like after a buzz after drinking a caffeinated beverage. Because we have talked for a while, and I have seen the love and honor in you by Julie. And you have seen the love and honor in my heart. And yet also similar to Romeo and Juliet, though our families are not in quarrel with each other, my family is paranoid for my safety for traveling a long distance. Yet what separated us before was an ocean and a bunch of other countries, including Germany. Yet now, the only thing that separates us in distance is North Virginia. And yet I would be willing to travel the distance that may be equal to less than a day. After I have the money, and my mother is less paranoid. But it is not as much parental restriction as it is, I feel I need the emotional support to back me up in my fair quest for a true love. And let's not forget my past. I will only mention her once, but Panda, I know that you are somewhere up there after the fire, and we will not forget you. But I look to a bright future where Julie and I will feel that love and then more after we are brought together by a brooming bit of fate. There is a small traveling distance. But I love you, Julie. I love you so much that I'd be willing to spend the amount that is needed for the gas and the food to travel the less than a day trip to you. And if anything should happen to you, my sweet Julie, it would hurt me so much. It would hurt me. But we don't need to face such grim consequences. As we both are living alive and well, and we also have the support of your brother, and another one who was a troll, but has emotionally took a 180. 160? No, 180. It's 360. It's full. The only factor missing the only thing missing that would complete the emotional support would be that of my mother. For she is even though for my father, you know what? I talk too much about what prevents us from being together, but I promise you, Julie, that in the near future we will be together, whether it be by my swift driving distance, and I'd be willing to travel that distance after I get the directions. Because I love you with my heart, Julie. I love you for who you are, the sweet, kind, gentle person that you are, the woman that understands me very much. We have a good number of things in common, Julie, and I am proud to know that you are going to a church as well. It's going to be, hopefully with the power of God at our sides, we'll be together very soon. For the power of God can influence even the most paranoid of souls, I'm sure. So I pray to Him every night that you and I would be together with full emotional support from everyone within our respective reach. My heart yearns for you, Julie, very much. I love you. I love you, Julie. I cannot say that I would die without you, because that would be an exaggeration. But it is better to say that I am a more nobler and much better person when I am around you and when I think of you, or when I talk to you, or when I look at your beautiful face in your picture. I love you, Julie. I love you with my heart. I am always with you in spirit, and soon enough I will be with you in person. So every night I can call out, "Oh, fair Juliet, wherefore art thou, fair Juliet?" And you would wander from the bushes that is the distance into my heart, and you would say, "I am here, O fair Christiano, and we are to be together as the gods so willfully, and yet we travel this distance to be together. Our hearts are emotionally joined. So let us get together, Julie, because you love me and I love you. Both of us love each other with our hearts." I'm hugging you, Julie. I'll talk to you later.
The Miscreants Introduction. Out of the shadows, the secret group of trolls known as the Miscreants revealed themselves on February 23rd, formed from the private villa of corrupted citizens. First, the Sonichu girl's form was revealed as being a fake. Its creation and corruption was attributed to Clyde Cash, though I'm pretty sure that he and the Cassie Rosechu persona are different people, so this isn't true. After this revelation, Chris got on a Mumble chat with Clyde and other members of the Miscreants, minus BlueSpike, who had to keep up the Julie charade, to confront him about the For Julie's Eyes Only video getting leaked and the Sonichu girl's form disaster. Clyde, in an admittedly cringe anime villain voice, tells Chris that the Miscreants are a gang formed to stop Chris from ever getting laid. Clyde claims that Jason Kendrick Howell, Blanca, and Panda Halo were all members, though this isn't true. The first call ends when one member, Arjun Van Dierten, gets a little too rowdy and starts making death threats at Chris and calling him a fag. Chris leaves, and the other Miscreants remove Arjun from the chat. Later, a second call is held, sans Arjun, and Chris tries to make peace with the trolls by claiming that all his mistakes were the result of stress he's been under, and saying, "Look, I'll admit it, I'm possibly retarded." The Miscreants weren't having it, and continue to berate him. If you want a more in-depth analysis of this call, Smokey MCC has a good video in which he gives his input as to what's happening and plays a great deal of the audio associated with this call, at least the highlights of it. Ohio trip. The same day, Chris talked with Julie's brother Max, who was using Julie's Skype account to communicate with him. Max claimed that he and the Miscreants had kidnapped Julie and that they were holding her captive in Cleveland, Ohio. He gave Chris 5 days to rescue her. Chris declares on Mumble that that's exactly what he's going to do, before spending February 24th, his birthday, at his aunt's funeral. Clyde threatens to ship Julie off to China, and Chris has a Skype chat with Sarah May, who didn't end up killing herself. In it, he tells her about his journey. The next day, on February 26th, Chris left home without telling his parents. He took his car, Sonichu, and drove to Cleveland, Ohio, following MapQuest to find the address that had been given to him by Julie's brother Max. He left a note for his parents, who called the police and filed a missing persons report when they found it, as they were worried he might accidentally get himself killed. As you might guess, Chris was faced with many problems during the trip. He locked himself out of his car and had to call AAA to come help him unlock it. Spent too much money on tolls and fast food since he only brought $50 with him. And, of course, discovered that he had been duped by the trolls when he reached the address given to him. Instead of finding Julie, he found an old house that an elderly black woman lived in. She, of course, had no idea who Chris, Max, or Julie were, and so Chris had little choice but to turn right around and drive back home. It would later be revealed that, while Chris enjoyed the trip, his parents threatened to lock him out of the house if he ever did anything like that again. He talked with Max over Skype, and seemed to take the whole thing in stride, not expressing much concern over Julie's supposed capture, perhaps because he believed that she wasn't in any actual danger anymore. Postcard. A troll printed out a still image from Chris's For Julie's Eyes Only video, and mailed it to the Chandler household as a postcard from hell. Apparently, Bob saw the picture and, as punishment, took away Chris's PlayStation camera, which he used to film many of his videos. Julie reveals herself. I don't usually do this, but before I discuss this next point, I have to give a warning. I'm going to talk about some very sensitive things: emotional abuse, sexual abuse, blackmail, general cruelty. This is dark stuff. What happened here was very wrong, and things got way too far out of hand. During one of their earlier Skype chats, Chris had willingly given Julie the name and password to his PSN, Yahoo, and Sonichu and Rosechu website accounts. Somehow, Max got a hold of these and accessed them, changing the information so that Chris could no longer use them. Chris discovered this on March 3rd. Max gave Chris an ultimatum. He could only have one thing: Julie or his accounts. Chris apparently chose Julie, as he revealed in a Skype conversation he had later with her and Max. Later, he would have a second call in which Max torments Chris for an hour, with other trolls listening in the background. Max, a 13-year-old, holds Chris's accounts for ransom, threatening to delete them or sell them on eBay. He makes Chris dance for his amusement, and forces him to declare that Billy Mays is the mayor of Quickville. BlueSpike gives Chris the choice of either burning his Sonichu medallion or cutting it into pieces and shoving it up his ass. Chris actually cuts up his medallion and starts to shove it up his ass, but then releases his bowels due to stress, causing him to shit on himself. The other trolls react in disgust and try to get BlueSpike to stop, but Max keeps torturing Chris, not allowing him to go wash his hands after he allows him to stop putting the medallion up his ass. Max then tries to get Chris to burn his house down, while the other trolls try to step in and stop Max. Chris refuses to do this. Because he fulfilled Max's demands, he allows him to talk to Julie, who reveals that she was actually Max the whole time, and that Chris has been having cyber sex with a 13-year-old boy. Chris doesn't respond as explosively as Max was hoping, so he tries to get Clyde Cash to rile up Chris again for his amusement. Clyde, who had been watching the previous video, wasn't in the mood for trolling and was disgusted by how far BlueSpike had gone. He point-blank tells Chris that there are no Sonichu fans, that Julie isn't real, and that he needs to go outside and get his life on track. This doesn't go anywhere, and Chris leaves the call after more berating. None of this was funny. This is all very messed up, and following this there was an explosive civil war on ED, in which people discussed if BlueSpike or Clyde Cash was to blame for what happened, and how things had all gone too far. This resulted in BlueSpike being largely ostracized from the community and kicked out of the Miscreants. He would continue to troll Chris a few more times, but he was no longer welcome among the general populace. If you want to, you can listen to the day's events. I'll put a link in the description. As a forewarning, it's very long, and it's pretty hard to listen to. But if you want the full picture of what happened that day, go right ahead. Before we move on to the next point, I'd like to say, just as it does on the Quickie, that you should not attempt to go after BlueSpike or try to uncover his identity. This all happened 14 years ago at this point, and he's moved on from this. He also has expressed regret at his actions and admits that what he did was wrong. That doesn't make it okay, but nothing good would come of digging up the past at this point. Chris dispels some rumors. On March 4th, the day after the infamous call, Chris uploaded a video in which he urges people to not believe anything the trolls say, tells everyone that he's still the mayor of Quickville and not Billy Mays, and comes up with an explanation as to why he doesn't have a Sonichu medallion on him at the moment.
August 2009. I have been under so much stress lately, and I've been suffering from like a bug, you know. Anyway, I have a couple of corrections to make. Do not believe anything that the trolls say or talk about. That's given. It's a given right there. And you notice I'm not wearing my medallion. I've decided I'm setting a new fashion trend. I'm wearing my high school ring in place of my medallion. It has the memories that have gone from medallion to medallion, believe me. So my high school ring is forever from this point. And also, I, Christian Weston Chandler, am still the mayor of Quickville. Although rumors have been flying around, I noticed about some guy named Billy Mays. I don't even know who that guy is. So anyway, I'm still the mayor of Quickville. Until I say in the comics or in the video otherwise. So I leave you all with all that while I still recover from my virus. Have a good day.
This sort of foreshadows that Chris is really starting to believe, or already does believe, that Quickville is a real place that exists somewhere, because he feels the need to have to dispel rumors that he is no longer the mayor of a fictional town. Quick calls out Max. He later films a second video calling out Max, who is still not giving him access to his PSN, Sonichu, and Rosechu, and Yahoo accounts. He reveals some of what happened the previous day, and rallies people against Max.
On the internet. I wish to announce the culprit who has gotten into my Yahoo account and took down the Sonichu and Rosechu site. His name is Max Molvanîa, as he last told me. He may go by another name, but he neutrally goes by BlueSpike or LeonSpike. And he has made me do certain things, like in order to get my Yahoo back, but he has failed to give me back my Yahoo. After doing such things, he asked me to cut up my medallion and shove it up my ass. He asked me to show him off my dick, which I have not. And he's just a nuisance, a bad nuisance, terrible. If you come in contact with him, tell him to give me back my Yahoo, and also somebody, please give him a cold virus for me.
BlueSpike gets the boot. Another Mumble chat is held that day, in which there seems to be a sort of truce between Chris and the trolls. BlueSpike joins in an attempt to torment Chris some more, but he's quickly shouted down and muted by others in the call, and later gets IP banned from the chat. Chris explains his situation to the chat, and the trolls commiserate about what transpired. Sarah May Skype logs. This is also kind of a dark one. Sarah May has another chat with Chris. It starts off pleasant enough, but it devolves into Sarah berating Chris about his view of women and his general laziness. She tells him that she's the only friend he has left, and convinces him that she is the one who has his Yahoo account information, even though she actually doesn't. As ransom, she forces Chris to draw Rosechu penetrating Sonichu with a dick. Sarah then claimed that Clyde wouldn't let her give Chris back his account, so she didn't end up upholding her end of the bargain. She then revealed that she herself was a troll, and that she was never interested in Chris. She wishes him luck with getting his Yahoo account back, and warns him to watch his step in the future.
In the meantime, I wanted to let you know that I lied. I didn't break up with my boyfriend. Oh, I see. We are very much in love. Alright, talk to you tomorrow. Do you know where I met him? Chris, wait. Where did you meet him? I met him in a chat room of people trolling you, and I'm a troll too. I have been this entire time. I have never loved you, because you're absolutely fucking disgusting. And you know the best part? The troll I met, we're in true love. The only thing you wanted, and we're happy because of your misery. Isn't that funny? Goodbye, Chris. It's been fun. Last words of advice. No more internet love. I tell you this because I care. Go after real girls in real life. Bring your sign back so they know exactly what you want. Girls like that so they can't be led on, etc. And most importantly, keep your website updated. We don't want another Ryan Cash incident, which was actually real. Update your comics regularly, or Clyde says he'll be back. Otherwise, what fans you have left, they'll be leaving, Chris. Be careful where you tread. Good luck with your Yahoo account.
Clyde murders BlueSpike. Chris hops back on Mumble for one last chat on March 5th before never using it again. In this call, he, Clyde Cash, and troll Jack Thaddeus discuss recent events. Clyde claims that people at Virginia Mental Health are trying to track Chris down and lock him up, but Chris says that his family will defend him. Clyde also says that he murdered BlueSpike, which Chris actually believed and, as far as I can tell, still believes to this day. Chris doesn't seem fazed by the idea that BlueSpike was killed on his behalf. Just so we're all on the same page, this didn't actually happen. Jack Thaddeus says that Billy Mays is going to try and get elected as Quickville's mayor, which Chris again believes. Chris tells people not to believe such slander, and to not support Billy Mays, and declares that he's going to resume his love quest in the real world instead of over the internet, which Clyde scoffs at. Quick with Bible, Leviticus. 5 days later, Chris somehow returns to his usual internet shenanigans. In this video, he reinforces his belief that homosexuality is wrong, citing the Bible verse Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, which was used in an, at the time, recent episode of Family Guy. The fact that this was satire goes completely over Chris's head.
Captain's log. Stardate, March 9th, 2009. I am here just to remind everybody I am wearing my ring. And I want everybody to know that when I am wearing my ring, I am being most honest and upfront. Just like I did when I wore my medallion. And incidentally, I'm working on another one. Hopefully I'll have it coated in metal. But also, on another note, I would like to state an obvious fact that has been revealed in the latest episode of Family Guy. And backs me up on the fact that homosexuality and gayness is just plain wrong. And Stewie has quoted the Bible verse that basically just says it in a nutshell. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22. Do not lie with a man as one lies with a woman. That is detestable. And to go on further, among the first number of verses, the Lord said to Moses, Speak to the Israelites, and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live, and you must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you. Do not follow their practices. You must obey my laws, and be careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and laws for the man who obeys them and will live by them. I am the Lord. And majority of laws are basically do not sleep with your close relatives or the relations of those relatives. And because in the end it's just described here from 25 and so on, even the land was defiled among such things. So I punished it for its sin, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you must keep my decrees and my laws. The native-born and the aliens living among you must not do any of these detestable things, especially sleeping with a man as you would a woman. You homos. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, for all these things were done by the people who lived in the land before you, and the land became defiled. And if you defile the land, it will vomit you out, as it vomited out the nations that were before you. Everyone who does any of these detestable things, such persons must be cut off from their people. Keep my requirements and do not follow any of the detestable customs that were practiced before you came, and do not defile yourselves with them. I am the Lord your God. This was chapter 18 of Leviticus in the Holy Bible. And verse 22. Sorry, homos, but I stand behind the truths of the Holy God and Lord. Thank you, and have a pleasant day. And also, just to add another note, I have also stopped in trying to find true love and romance over the internet, and have currently, and possibly temporarily, ceased talking on instant messages and the Mumble on the internet. I've taken a first step into encouraging myself to actually talking to the women around here, and I quote the book that I have learned about from the John Says Radio Show, as well as my pastoral counselor, How to Talk to Girls by Alec Grevin, a 9-year-old. You can find a video about where he talks about his book on Amazon.com. Great book. The only thing that I disagree about is the fact that men are the magnets and the women are the metal. because it can go either way. He just basically backs up to the fact that about guys being the magnets, only on the brains. Only on the brains. Only if they're smart enough. I mean, not every man is smart. I'm not saying I'm dumb or naive, but not every man is smart. So, that's a false statement, Alec. But I commend you on the rest of your words if you are listening to this, Alec. Thank you. Have a pleasant day.
And that does it for part 6 of the Chronological Chris Chan Iceberg. If you pulled up the original image of the iceberg in order to follow along, I'm sure you'll see that I actually added several points of interest myself. This is because I found the original to be a bit lacking in some areas, so I took it upon myself to do a little extra research in order to bring you a more complete picture of this time in Chris's life. The main sources of information I used were the Quickie and Gino Samuel's documentary, both of which you can find linked in the description if you want to do some of your own research on Chris. I'll get working on part 7 of this series as soon as I can, in which we'll be going over more of the Clyde Cash saga and the Emily saga. As I said before, please like the video if you liked it, comment if you have something to say, because I do read them all, and subscribe to the channel if you want to get notified when more of these videos come out. I hope to see you back here soon, and goodbye for now.